So let's start with a visual that I put in front of you. I feel like soft skills are also like that fog in the jar. You know they are right there, but once you try to quantify them, just like that smoke or that fog in the jar, it disappears or it's hard to catch up. Today we are going to talk about the real ways to measure that fog, to turn something into visible, useful, and yes, measurable. This is a framework that I've been devising for one of the books that I'm writing, and I'll present it to you, and then we'll see how it goes. Here's my promise to you, what I wanted to focus, right? So it's not just another dry agenda or just another dry training. There are three parts to our discussion today. We want to discover why most soft skill trainings fail to move the needle. It's not you, it's not the content as well. You'll be surprised. It's the gap between what we train and how we track. The next one is to get a framework to connect your learning or training to the real world outcome. So remember that channel I said, if till the time I do not tell the participants that this is relevant for you and they see that, aha, yeah, it is relevant for me, they will become more interested. And as learning professionals, and even as, trust me, in your personal life as well, till the time you do not tell people what's in it for you, they will not listen to you. Okay, so it's a personal life thing as well, and that's why I like learning and development, because you can apply most of these principles to your personal life. Lastly, we will create, so I will send you a file as well once we come to that, and you will map out one of your own maybe skill that you are trying to challenge with, maybe your teams or in your personal life, right? And we will try to see how you can apply that framework step by step over there. Before we dive into the tools or the strategies, the first thing you always want to know, now that we know the challenges, is where do you stand right now? See, till the time we don't know where we are or where we want to go, you cannot really navigate a place, right? So the question that comes to mind is that how do you currently measure the soft skills impact? And not that surveys are bad or anything, but if they are done without a purpose, they will go nowhere. They become very subjective, which I will share with you the next. So I love that our conversation is going in the same direction. Keep in mind, in service and focus groups, there are some problems as well, especially once it comes to soft skills. So the real insight isn't in the nice words, it's in tracking the visible growth over time. So if surveys and self-assessments aren't cutting through, right? So what are we actually measuring? That brings us to a hidden gap in most soft skill trainings. And that's what I want to share with you. See, we train the skill, but we rarely track the outcome. We are not tracking the outcome. Most programs stop at did they enjoy the training, but that's not enough, because subjective feelings is not equal to the real world results. Because most of the soft skill challenges aren't about the skill itself, they are about the business outcomes or the personal outcomes that the skill is meant to improve. So for example, if you are running an empathy training, what are you really trying to improve? That's a question you have to ask. But I'm saying, no, it's not about empathy. It's not empathy that you want to improve. Actually, in business, the real thing you want to improve is that base of that empathy, which is my customers will become more happier, we'll have better resolution, we have better teams. Instead of just asking, do you feel more empathetic? Track whether the customer issues are resolved faster. So think of it this way, that soft skills aren't about feeling more empathetic, they are about acting more empathetic. Okay, so you want to see the change in behavior, you want to see the change in performance and outcomes. You don't want to just teach to it. So, and a metaphor, I purposely put that tree over there. So if you look at this tree metaphor, okay, so I'm giving a metaphor. You cannot measure a tree's health by staring at the root. You are going to look at the leaves, you're going to look at the branches and the fruit. So that's how you will understand the tree is thriving. So same for soft skills. Soft skills, you have to look at what is the outcome that this soft skill is related to. Okay. Here is the model I want to propose for you to consider to make soft skills measurable and visible, just like any other system in the businesses. So here it's a 5-step process. I'm giving you the first step. The first step is you ask yourself, what is that soft skill that I am trying to improve? This is the core of that ability. Soft skill can be like, okay, I want to improve active listening or empathy, communication, conflict, right? So many things. Think of soft skill like a steering wheel. The second part that we want to talk about is, now what is that observable behavior on that skill? The how is your proof in action, right? That same thing that we discussed, we don't measure the feeling, we measure what people are doing. Okay, so that's your second step in this process. The third step that you will do is, which is just to connect it to your workplace. So where do we see this? Now see, it looks like a very straightforward question. Oh, I see it everywhere. Oh no, hold on, because once we are trying to measure something, we have to exactly see where. Okay, I want to see it. Once people are active listening, it might be in my one-on-ones with my manager, or I'm doing a team meeting, doing the focus groups, right? So that's your basically tracking zone. Your tracking zone is not in the classroom once you're teaching the things. You see, the place where that soft skill is happening is your place to measure it. So if it's one-on-one, I have to see how are the one-on-ones going in relation to the active listening concept. Okay. The next step is, which is the most important step, I would say, is which behavior will improve if we use this soft skill. You will start by asking, what is an observable behavior that will improve if this skill is applied? Then you can ask, if this behavior improves consistently, what are the bigger issues that will resolve? In matrix, there are two types of matrix. One is called lead matrix, one is called lag matrix. Lead matrix are the early signs that some skill is showing up. It is just like an example of a steam coming from a pot, before. So it's a signal that water is heating up. People are sharing more ideas in a meeting, right? They have less interruptions, like we discussed, or there are fewer what are we doing today kind of emails, or I didn't get that memo, by the way, right? So people say that because they're not listening or they're not attentive. So now that I'm gauging active listening, these are the early signs. Oh yeah, things are happening. Now, what are the long-term results that we want to see on that? So these are kind of those fruit on the tree. Remember, we gave the tree analogy. These are those actual fruits they are showing. They are slow to grow, but they are more valuable. So what do I mean by that? It means if people are listening actively, you will see an improved feedback from them. You will see higher scores on your CSATs. If you're doing those surveys with clients, you will see higher results. And then the last and the final step is, now that you have those metrics, you're going to ask yourself, so where are those metrics, right? This might include your peer feedback, and rest of it is, the more you practice, the more it will work. Also, that table will help you to see some of the other ideas. After your trainings, don't just quiz on knowledge for people. You need to have a plan. Once you are doing your trainings for your folks, you need to plan before the training. Don't just plan for a quiz knowledge, because that knowledge is only for you to know that people understand the ideas. Understanding is one thing. Swimming, how to do swimming is one thing. Actually going in water and swimming is a whole different thing, and I'm not a good swimmer. So in skills, yes, you do show them, or you make sure that they know what to do, how to do. You have to create those challenges for them. And this was, I showed you how I did it. Like, I showed you actually how to do it and connected it to your work environment or your personal environment. You're like, okay, this is what I want to improve. So I told you, okay, look for these specifics over there. You have to ask this question: can they apply this skill? Okay, that's the question you have to ask in your planning phase. Or where are they planning? The way you change people's mindset is by them understanding that it does make a change in my life. Like I told you, you have to show what's in it for me. It's not the people. The only thing I can control is myself. You cannot control people's attitude. You can control them by indirectly showing them why it's important. You show them by some data or showing them in their everyday lives how it improves it for them. Okay. Another thing I want to share, I saw your thumbs up, so which is good. It looks like some of it made sense, right? I mean, again, there are a lot of complexities. I totally respect that. Another thing which is not part of this training, but know that different stakeholders have different way to be energized. What I mean by that is some people want data. They love data. You have to show them data. You cannot tell them, hey, it's very important training. They'll be like, why? Right? There are other people who respond more to emotions. Hey, if you don't do it, none of your team members will do it. Guess what? They will respond to you because they are built differently. So understand your people. What works with one person may not work with another person. Sometimes you have to develop those relationships to change the attitudes over a long time. Also, check for the stakeholders who are most important. Normally you can change the attitude by keeping people in communication. Hey, this is what we improved, this is what we did. Do you send emails to managers and tell them, hey, your person did an awesome job, this is what we did, and I have told them to go back and talk with manager and get some feedback and do this as a project. Look for some XYZ in your workplace. Have you done that? Because once you do that, it really makes a difference in their life as well. But I hope I was able to share a different perspective to you guys.